मेरे प्यारे फिट देशवासियों, मंकी फ्लैग फिटनेस के रेडियो चैनल द्वारा प्रस्तुत मंकी बात में आपका स्वागत है। Monkey Baat is an opportunity for us to educate, inspire, and hopefully entertain you guys a lot while we talk about fitness, CrossFit, and everything else that happens at Monkey Flag. Tanaya, you look very comfortable hanging that receiver from your shots.
It's usually a tennis ball, but today it's just a receiver. Just one.
Okay. What's been happening this weekend? How was your weekend?
This weekend was very exciting. The first workout of the CrossFit Open was out. Everybody was pumped up. The new fun element that we added to our box, which was the Monkey Flag intramural.
Oh yeah, we've got teammates between Darshana and between us two.
Woo! Me and Katie are in one team.
Alright. How was the workout for you?
The workout was pretty challenging. Movement-wise, not too difficult a movement, but the entire intensity of the workout was a lot. But the crowd that was there, the members that were there cheering everybody on, made it a bit more easier for sure. I'm sure everybody felt that way.
Dash, what do you think? I know it's your. I hear they're your favorite movements. So.
Yes, both of them. I was very happy to see those movements, but the moment I started doing it, that's when everything kicked in. So I didn't feel so happy after that. But yes, the crowd, the energy, that was like next level. It was really fun to work out at that time where everybody was just there cheering, pushing you, like just one more rep extra. It really matters a lot.
Yeah, you guys had it lucky. All I got was videos in Bangalore while I was sitting there, but it's mad. What I saw with the community was something else. Like, just the amount of people that turned up that early in the morning to help each other and cheer for each other is crazy. Very cool. Do you think having the 4 teams for the intramural open helped with that?
Yes, actually, first it was a lot of competition between the teams because there were challenges. There are challenges every week. So the first week, the challenge about the logo and the name. So everybody was discussing, getting into the teams, figuring out the logos. But on the floor during the workout, everybody was cheering everybody. So that's what I liked about it. That be it in whatever team you were in, everybody was there for just everybody else. They were just cheering for everybody. That was the best part.
That's the beauty of the CrossFit community, right? Is how people come together to support each other in those tough times, and that's what builds that camaraderie, which is such an important part of what sets CrossFit affiliates apart from most other gyms in the world. Is how that culture that we have of bringing people together, no matter how tough a workout or tough a day it may be, is that we're there to support each other and hold each other accountable at the same time, right? So nobody's letting you off easy. They still expect you to do the workout, especially if you're the coach. They're going to be there to watch you. Like, I know when I put out that I'm doing the workout later in the week, everyone made sure they'd still turn up to watch me and hold me accountable, that I would push myself no matter what the day was like, which is a nice balance of support and accountability at the same time is what I love about the community. What else about the Open are you enjoying?
Pressure that is building up.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So if you're a member, you're working out, everybody's coming and watching you, right? So that is one pressure where you have to perform. Second way, if we are coaches, we are performing, everybody has some expectations from us, which we have to stick to. So that is a different pressure that you have. Right?
But and I think that's good. As in, I'm not sure if you're talking about it from a score perspective, which is just one part of it. But beyond your score is how you hold yourself to the standard through that workout, and this is also something that people are going to look at you, right? If you expect people to move a certain way throughout the year, and now everyone's here watching you, cheering you on through the Open, And if you can't hold yourself to the standard of a movement, so your back looks like a dog that's pooping for every snatch on that dumbbell snatch, you can't expect others to listen to you when you're in the class the next morning, right? So if you're going to hold people accountable to a certain standard of the movement, which is not just of the standard of the games or the open, which is, hey, the dumbbell has to touch the floor every time, you must stand up to full extension at the top, but beyond that, at a physical level, can you maintain a good position? Can you move well? People are watching you, right?
Yeah.
So that's one part. Is that what you're talking about, or do you also mean the score?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Not about scoring, it's more about how much and how you can perform under pressure, especially after getting tired, how you maintain the form and still stick to that.
Which is, and also the mental part of that, right? Is when you're tired, how you're tackling it.
Yeah.
I would like to add something else to that. There's a tennis player, Yannick Sinner. He once quoted recently that pressure is privilege. And I would like to add on to this that to be under pressure, to be able to perform under pressure is a privilege in itself, so that you can see how much you can push. You have that ability to push under pressure. You never know how much you can push until you are under that pressure. So that's a new way to understand your capacities, to build your capacities, to push your limits. So it is a privilege in itself.
As everybody is athletes, right? No matter what level of athlete you are, I think. Yeah, and that's quite cool, especially, and that's what the social aspect of it does create pressure, right? Like, again, like I said last week, men will die for points, as Coach Glassman said, but he also said, I probably perform better if my dog is in the room with me when I'm on the rower. If you put two people in the room with me, I'll perform even faster. So it's just as that, right? A little bit of social facilitation goes a long way.
Yes.
And it's up to you how you take the pressure, though, is another thing. I know a lot of people that take the open the wrong way. Is you're so obsessed with your score on one workout that you're willing to put your health at risk, or just to get a little bit of a better score than everybody else, you lose focus of your training in general, right? If we're here, I agree, you should take some pressure, and it's great to build some resilience, build some mental toughness. But if we're here to build on our health in the long term, should you really be compromising 2 weeks worth of training by trying to do the same open workout 3 times so I can get 1 more rep on the score, right? So how you take that challenge along, how do you treat that competition as a part of your long-term journey versus wanting to just get some extra reps in and compromising your health, maybe getting injured in the process? I disagree with the fact that you take so much pressure about the open that you feel like doing the workout 3 times and then putting the rest of the week at risk.
But honestly, imagine if you're actually going out and performing it somewhere on the floor, you just get 1 attempt to do it, right? So why not take it that way rather than thinking, I've just, it's in my house, I can do it multiple times, rather than thinking that.
If you were at the games, you wouldn't get a retest,
exactly,
right?
It's just 1 attempt.
So if you, and most of us are not going to the games. So if this is the level that you're going to perform at, treat it like you were at the games, right? Which also brings me to the point of judging. Is I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of videos where if you were at the games, some things wouldn't slide. I hope they wouldn't slide. That a lot of the social media makes me feel like as a community of CrossFitters, as judges, as coaches, as affiliate owners, as athletes, we could hold ourselves to a higher standard than what we do. Just things that if it looks dodgy, give yourself a no rep. Let your judge be okay with giving you a no rep and redo it, right? If we as coaches and athletes and affiliate owners can't hold that standard, which is the biggest part of our culture, right, is accountability and integrity, and then hard work. So if you're gonna let those standards loose, drop those standards, is the open really worth anything then, right? Are you gonna give yourself, or your judge is giving you a pro rep because that jump really wasn't clearly a 2 feet in the air at the same time? Are we okay with that? And it hurts a little bit to see that. Not that it's because somebody is doing better than you, but just that as a community, I believe, should hold ourselves to a higher standard.
True, totally agree on that. Because if we are not strict about the standards, if we don't judge, we don't say no reps, it's all useless, right? The opens that we are doing is mainly to test yourself, see what you work throughout the year, and it shows like how you work throughout the year, right? So Obviously, giving one no rep and doing one extra rep, obviously, if you're very competitive, time is one thing, but it's absolutely fine because the judge is still dicey about it and judge has taken the call.
Yes. Stick with it. You've been on the back end of a bunch of sports, tennis competitions. How is
Yes.
it different?
It is very similar, I would say. The judging wise and from the point of view of the athlete, the judge has to be very observant also. In the tennis tournaments, here also has to be very strict, has to be very fair. Even if the athlete performing is a friend of mine, for example, I have to be fair at that point. I have to say, oh no, that is a no rep. You did not touch the dumbbell down. You did not lock out. I have to give it a no rep. Same way, even if one person is a friend, I would be fair there. One person is not, maybe. I would still be fair. And from the point of view of the athlete, I feel the athlete also has some responsibility to hold, should be accountable, to maintain those standards, to not give the judge that benefit of doubt, to be so clear on those reps that the judge says, okay, yes, that is a good rep. Or
Yeah, it's not about
yes,
gaming.
it's just it's just
the
not
standards, right?
sneaking your way in.
Absolutely.
And also follow these standards throughout the year, not just the opens, throughout all your workouts. So if you do that every day, you will do that in your workouts at the open. So it's a good practice to follow that every day, every day of the year, so that you get the best results for the open that you're doing.
That's a fair point, right? Is even when we train, I'd say even train beyond what the basic standard is, right? It's one of the parts is, hey, get your hips below parallel. But when you're training, are you training even beyond that? Hey, my hips are parallel, but could you maintain beautiful form? If you can then translate that to your competitions, that's respectable. Again, I understand for the risk that you're taking versus the reward. Like I said, retesting a workout. If you're gonna miss qualifying to the semi-finals by a rep or two and you feel like I could have done it, and you've got the time frame, man, the sport allows it. There's a chance of you to make it big. Go ahead and retest. But having that perspective of where you are in that journey is so important. And if you're gonna win a world championship and that means you risk hurting yourself a little bit, possibly go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But if it's about getting your score on the leaderboard in the gym, is it really worth risking an injury? I don't know. But that brings me to the other part about judging is, for example, with tennis, right? You've got professionals that are certified in a much more stringent way. They're paid, so they're professionals. Cricket, right? It's not easy to be an umpire with cricket or with football. With CrossFit, especially at the Open, we do recommend people get the judges course done. But you've got to understand that they're all volunteers. They're not people that take judging as a profession or coaching as a profession, right? So it's much more difficult for them to take the call in terms of was it really at that speed a no rep or not. They can mess up, which then loops back to the point is if you've not got professional judges, isn't it as a community our responsibility to stay accountable and hold the standard together instead of saying, hey, my judge can't see my no reps, so I can just push the speed and keep going, right? What sort of culture are we pushing as individuals, as coaches? What examples are we setting is, I think, very important.
So honestly, judging is something which is not an easy thing. The judge is also constantly under pressure. You have to count reps. You have to see whether it's rep, no rep. There are a lot of multiple things the judge has to look at. Even the timelines, the tiebreakers, all those things the judge has to look, right? Especially if it's somebody who is inexperienced. I think it's also the responsibility of the athlete to show them clear reps to make it easier for them.
Which comes down to the culture of the gym, right? So what culture do all of you adhere to? What do you all agree with? And that is what it all boils down to, is how you approach it as a community, I think. And if everybody is on the same page about this, I don't think there should be many problems, right? Culture, very cool. What else did you do this weekend?
We missed one very important member from our group during the workouts. Unfortunately, Katie wasn't there with us to work out. Where were you, Katie?
I had a busy weekend. I was working on culture again for the Indian community, where I spent a day with a lot of other box owners in Bangalore as our first affiliate owners gathering. And most of our discussions were again about how we tackle scenarios, because there are no correct answers per se about how you tackle issues in the community, with your coaches, with your employees, maybe with business. But it was a lot of discussion that I loved was about people have different perspectives, different opinions, but there's some really common, beautiful underpinning sort of values that we all box owners have across the country, which include sort of hard work. The amount of work and the amount of hours that these affiliate owners put in is a lot more than I coach. So I'm impressed with that. They all understand this accountability aspect, right? So it's very similar what we talk about as our businesses and what we talk about as our workouts, and our methodology is the same. So that was very cool. I was very pumped because so many of us sort of got to spend time with peers after so long. And so I realized that we left that day with a lot of sort of motivation to go back and be better as affiliate owners, as coaches, and as managers. After that, Darshana joined me and I redid the level 2 after I think about 6 years. So
Why did you redo the level?
we'll get to that. How you did the level 2. Tell me what you learned and how did you enjoy it? What was your experience with the level 2?
So I did enjoy it. It was intense. It was filled with a lot of information, knowledge, how to coach. I feel this is one of those best courses where if somebody wants to improve their coaching game or take it to the next level, this is one of them that they need to do it. It was not just with theoretical information, but it was more with practical also. We were doing a lot of coaching in groups, in individuals, getting us feedbacks on how to coach, where to change, how to change. So yeah, that is one thing which I really liked was feedbacks that I was getting, which will really help me in the future to improve and work if I work on that, obviously.
Nice. And I think CrossFit stands out in the education department. CrossFit stands out in that where they adhere to the need that their coaches don't just need to know theory, but that they need to know how to teach. Right? Even in the level 1, even though the level 1 is an introduction to the methodology, and you were there recently, they still make you coach a little bit. Right? You're still practicing coaching. On the other hand, if you compare to like some of the really big certifications in the world, you can have this really impressive 5-letter, 4-letter degree at the end of your name, but they don't really talk about the skills that are needed as a coach, right? Can you distill your knowledge into instructions? Can you correct by seeing the right faults, prioritizing what I want to correct, and correct faults in that way, which the level 2 of course focuses on a lot more. But even in the level 1, they talk about these aspects, which a lot of certifications and other companies that do education in the fitness field just don't talk about. So I can have the biggest sort of certification from a few other bodies, but not have really worked at training an athlete in a gym ever before, which I really enjoy. And I went back after 6 years because, hey, continuing education is important. You need to keep sort of brushing up on your skills. The other part was, like I said the last time, I want to start prepping for improving my level for my coaching for my level 4 evaluation that I want to attempt again. And what better way than going back to the basics, right? So went back to the basics. I got a lot of feedback again, even after so many years, of things I should work on, which is amazing. And I got to meet a range of coaches, which was really cool, right? So we had coaches with very little experience, not as much confidence with their craft, coaches with a lot more experience, maybe a lot more confidence, but people like me who have built habits that may not have been the best. Now it's about going back and unlearning certain habits and building new habits and behaviors with our coaching skills and redoing things from the basics again, which I loved. Another thing that I loved is that they've actually gone out and changed the curriculum. So when I did it, the style of running the weekend was different. They talk about nutrition here, and they don't talk about it in the dietitian sense, where they talk about charting out meal plans, but they talk about sort of problem solving from a positive psychology, behavior change sort of way, right? Which, again, coming from a psychology background, I loved. They talked about Bandura, social learning. They talked about how you can give group support, how you can help people make behavior change, right? Which is a nice piece to add onto your coaching skill set. Did you think that was helpful to you?
Oh yes, it will, because most of the times people take nutrition as a diet, like the short term, but it's difficult for them to maintain it in the future and take it ahead and to make changes in their lifestyle. That is what this nutrition thing helped as to how would that help them changing it throughout their life and maintaining that thing.
So that was a neat addition, I think. What about the feedback you got? What did you think about? Was it
Kind of expected. most of the things that we do here, the feedbacks that I used to get from you and Arman also, most of it was similar to that as to what I need to work on, which again I liked thinking that okay, I do really need to work on these things where maybe I'm not applying it so much. So it just helped me to change my strategies a little bit and to plan the sessions better. That was one important thing which I really liked and I learned over there, how to plan. Maybe it's any session, if it includes weightlifting only, or if it's got conditioning and weightlifting both together, like how to change things also as per the program that we have built for that week. That's really helpful.
And that culture of giving and receiving feedback, I think, is something that we've been trying really hard with everybody, right? So our athletes receive feedback all the time. Our coaches hopefully receive feedback quite often. And what I saw was really cool is that even right up to HQ, they follow this, right? So hi Vijay. Vijay coached our workouts at the level 2, right? And Vijay keeps receiving feedback on the workouts he coaches at the seminars too, right? So even after being at the sort of tip of the spear in the training department, he's a red shirt for I think 12 years, and yet he was more than happy to receive feedback on the workout he coached and to give feedback out at the same time, right? The people were still giving him feedback, and that's constantly chasing improvement, which I think is a very cool aspect. And that stood out at the level 2 for me is that we seek improvement, not perfection, right? So that's one of the things that they kept repeating there, and I think that's a beautiful way to even sort of attack the open as we go into the next week, which is can I learn from the mistakes I made on last Saturday and come back this Saturday with a better strategy for whatever it is. What do you think the workout's going to be?
Oh, I would definitely not like to think about that.
What do you not want it to be?
Probably a whole lot of things.
Come on, you can do better.
At least not the muscle up for the second one. It is going to come for sure, but
I think I want ring muscle ups. It's usually where light folks like me get to sort of jump up on the leaderboard and show off a little bit. But okay.
I want something heavy.
Yeah, nice.
I have a strong feeling crossovers would be featuring.
Just because you're good at them and you've been working on them.
I would like
just because
them
you've
to
been practicing them.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with Darshana this one. Darshana, I think what I'd love to see is a technical lift, something like this is a level 2 again. Like a heavy lift, some Olympic lifting, either a squat clean or something like that, and some muscle ups put together. A skill component with a slightly moderate to heavy load would be a nice place to tie it off with compared to what we had last week, which was great. I loved it. I loved tasting metal in my mouth yesterday. I met Pukey after a lot of years, but it is what it is. You know, you what you've got on that day is what you've got on that day. So I'm happy I could do it. It's a privilege to work out in whatever state it was. So I'm glad. And we move on to the next one.